time we share, with a dash of this and a pinch of that, mixed all up with care. The best company and conversation, recipes and new creations. We're cooking up something good here at home. We are cooking up something good here at home.
Hello, I'm so glad that you came by to drop in at home here today. I've just been reading over some of the mail, and we have thoroughly enjoyed reading the letters. And the one is from Uniontown, and her name is Charlotte. Charlotte, thanks for your kind comments. One of the things you said was, my husband and I tuned into your show accidentally one evening. Now we watch every week. We really enjoy your show. Well, we're really glad that you do. Number one, enjoy the show, and number two, join us every week. It's viewers like you that we're looking for. Another letter that I got was from a Laverne, and she says, Dear Arlene, once again, I am writing to you to send me your wonderful, delicious recipes. The other recipes that I sent for and made were simply marvelous. My family and friends enjoyed eating them very much. Thanks again, Arlene. I haven't missed your show since I first saw you. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're making the recipes that you have seen on the program, because that tells me that you're not afraid to try and that you're willing to give it a shot, try it, and surprisingly enough, you can make them. They're not complicated recipes, but they're good. And thanks for telling us about that, Laverne. Another one that I received says, Dear Mrs. Williams, very formal, and that's nice. I caught your show for the first time this past week and must tell you how enjoyable it was to watch. Why? You made everything so simple that even a less experienced person could follow your instructions. I look forward to watching your shows from now on. Well, see, that just backs up what I said to you at the very beginning of our programs. This is not, I'm not a fancy chef, I'm not a gourmet cook, it's just everyday cooking. And she said she caught us for the first time and she's been watching. We're glad you are. Another one says, and this is from a lady named Flora, she says, Dear Arlene, your program at home is a joy to watch. It is always interesting and enlightening. I pray it stays on for a long, long time. Bless you all. Well, we pray it stays on for a long, long time too, because we enjoy doing these programs every week just for you. And this is a special, this last letter is a special letter because it comes from a man who works with a woman. And they started talking in the office about watching this program, found out that they both watched at home. And he said to me, Arlene, your refrigerator is just too bare. And so he did something about it. And apparently this man ministers to people in aged homes or in nursing homes. And let me show you what he made, the beautiful magnet that he made for my refrigerator. We can see this. Isn't it pretty? I think it's so nice. It's a stained glass cross. And so I want to thank Gene because he did this very simple but very nicely. And he told me when I talked with him, he's made 150 stained glass magnets. So we're going to find its rightful place. We're going to put it right here where Gene asked us to do. Here we go, right here on our refrigerator. Today's program, we're going to be talking about cinnamon buns. Cinnamon rolls. My husband loves cinnamon, and this is going to be one of the most delicious, easy recipes that you've ever seen for cinnamon rolls. And my very good friend and guest is Marianne Skiba, and she's going to start the recipe right after this important message. Stay with us. Well, here we are with Marianne Skiba. And Marianne, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm blessed to be here too, Art.
Do you know, Marianne is our set designer, and she is responsible for my beautiful kitchen and our dining area. And we had a good time doing this, didn't we?
Oh, we certainly did. All our shopping sprees and all the big bargains we got.
We sure.
That was
and
wonderful.
God was so good to us, wasn't it?
Yes, he was.
We would go into a place, and the thing that we needed was on sale, or all the colors were there that we needed for the set. And this lady can do things with sheets and pillowcases, like decorating windows, but that's another whole program, and we'll do that some other day, okay? Today, Marianne, one of the things she's known for is cinnamon rolls. How long have you been making cinnamon rolls?
Oh my goodness. I don't want to give my age away, so I won't tell you.
Well, you and David have been married
Close to 10 years.
close to 10, and you've probably been making them since then,
yes.
maybe longer.
David loves sweets.
Now, is this a hard recipe?
No, it's so easy, anybody can do it.
And it's versatile, right?
Very versatile.
Let me show you the finished product. Now, sometimes we don't do this. Sometimes we show you, say, well, just wait, we'll show you at the end. But I want you to see what she's going to make with this dough. Now, these are the basic cinnamon rolls, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And you would put a little glaze on that? Did you probably put some kind of an icing on that?
You can put icing or glaze or just drizzle it with honey. It's wonderful.
Or just leave them plain if you want to
right.
not use that much. And these are wonderful. These are walnut rolls. Walnut cinnamon rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And with the same dough, you can make both.
Same exact dough.
And you're going to show us some other things too, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to show you another variation on this dough using the same principles as we used on those two.
This is something that she and we talk about because we both like to cook and entertain.
Yes.
This is a bread bowl. Now, you don't have to have this big bowl to make this recipe, but I'm sure that if some of you will look around in your mother's cupboards or your grandmother's, she probably has a huge bread bowl like this because in years gone by, that's what they had, a special bowl that they used.
Oh, yes.
And no, you didn't use it for anything else except to make your bread.
But matter of fact, they didn't even wash these bowls. They just wiped them out and they just put them by their flour bins.
Well, you know, I have a friend in North Carolina that her mother has a biscuit bowl that she makes biscuits every day, and she never washes it. She cleans it all out, puts the flour in there, and gets it ready for the next morning and
That's
sits it on
right.
the shelf.
That's what they used to do.
This is the things that make, to me, that make kitchens interesting. Okay, show us what to do.
Okay, we're going to start off with a basic 3/4 of a cup of shortening. Now, you can use butter. You can use any kind of shortening you want. I prefer Crisco.
Okay.
And what you do is you get, didn't get this here.
Some hot water.
Boiling hot water. And you know, the reason for that is a cup of boiling hot water will melt all that shortening there. But it doesn't have to be
totally melted.
Totally melted.
Okay.
Okay. To this mixture, you add half a cup of sugar.
You mean now you don't have to wait till the shortening melts completely
No, this
down.
is why it's so easy. This is a recipe that's not fragile. I love it. 1 teaspoon of salt.
So glad you said that, because sometimes I get intimidated with a bread dough or a yeast dough because I think if I don't do it exact, oh, it's not going to work out. But
Arlene,
you're saying,
I tell you what, pastry doughs are very fragile, but bread doughs, you can really kind of beat them up and they don't mind it. They like to
probably
be beat
better,
up.
huh? But I know with the pastry, the difference is the pastry dough, the more you work it, the tougher it gets rather than flaky. But the more you work a bread dough that has a yeast in it, the better it likes it, right?
I'll tell you what, that's the truth. But with this recipe, you don't even have to hardly need it at all. That's what's so nice about it. Okay. And to that mixture then, we'll start adding our cups of flour. So we will start with 1 cup of flour.
Okay, now Marianne is spooning the flour in, and that's the proper way to do flour. You don't put the measuring cup down in the bag and drag it up and say that's about, no, you spoon it in because you don't want it to be packed down tight. You want it to be spooned in. Okay, let me hold that up while you're stirring, okay, so that the
See, now what you're going to do is, see, it's nice and warm because the water was hot. So you're kind of creating the bed for the yeast to want to rise. Now, you know, the yeast likes a warm temperature.
That's right.
If you are using a yeast that is a cake yeast, it needs less warmth than the dry yeast would. The dry yeast needs to have a hotter temperature in order to get okay, now see, we kind of made like a paste. Can you see that? And it's lumpy. Actually, it's lumpy.
Okay.
But you don't have to worry about that because in the kneading process, it's all going to be better.
Okay.
Okay, now to that, I'm going to just whip up a couple little eggs, just a little bit.
Okay, some beaten eggs.
Some beaten eggs.
2 beaten eggs.
Okay. And we're going to mix that in. Okay.
Okay.
What this basically is, we're just alternating the dry liquids and the wet liquid.
Okay.
Just so that it doesn't become too hard to handle. Okay, now I'm going to add, well, let me add 2 more.
How many total cups of
Well, it's
flour?
like 6 to 7.
So this is going to make a lot, right?
Yes, it does make a lot, Art. It really does.
But, you know, if you go to the trouble of doing it, it would be good. You know, you're going to go to all this, getting everything ready, so why not, right?
That's right.
I
Why
mean, you know,
not?
why not?
Actually, I have made 2 recipes at a time. It's a little bit more difficult to handle, but it works. Now see, it's starting to get kind of dry, so what we'll do is we will put the yeast mixture in.
Now you've proofed that, haven't you?
Yes, I have, and I just want to explain a little bit about this. This was cake yeast. And it was just 2 tablespoons of cake yeast. And what happens is that it needs a certain degree of temperature for it to feel good enough to proof. So it's like about 108 degrees of water that you put in there. Sometimes you use milk.
Depending on what the liquid is.
Depending on what the recipe is.
But you know it's working because the little bubbles are coming up.
Yes, you know what I did also, or I added like a teaspoon of sugar to that.
Sugar encourages it, doesn't it?
It feeds it. It actually feeds it. Linda Wilson came over and said, "Oh my gosh, that is bubbling."
Bubbling
and I
like
said,
crazy.
Of course it's bubbling. And you know what it does? When it bubbles like that, it means it is actually feeding off that sugar and starting to grow already. So it's time for us to put it into the mixture. Ooh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Ooh, it just kind
fizzing. Well, look, even let them see in the bowl. See what's happening? It's bubbling even more once it's hit the. We have a little obnoxious fly because it's so sweet in here today. That's okay. Don't worry about him, Larry. He'll be all right.
We're not going to pay attention to him.
Okay.
Okay, then you just mix this all up. Now you see it's very watery, isn't it? So it needs more flour.
Okay. Could I spoon some flour for you while you're
would
doing
you
that?
like to? I'm going to just keep on doing this. Now, you know, some yeast recipes call for a mixer to beat it. This recipe is so nice because you don't have to do that. This is like an
blending beautifully.
Yes, see, but it isn't smooth. But don't worry about it.
Okay, another. How about
another cup? Let's put another one in.
Another one too.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that will make 6 altogether already. You know, and sometimes I just want to say this. Depends on the weather.
Yeah, it does. It really has a lot to do with the success of a dough like this, doesn't it?
If it's humid or raining outside,
forget it, huh?
don't bake. No, you can bake, but just
bake
make sure that
something else.
just make sure that your temperatures in your kitchen are a little bit more. Now, see, it's starting to leave the sides of the bowl, but it's still just a little bit too sticky.
Now, when it all comes together, that's when it's dry enough. Is that right?
Yes.
Right now, it's not really forming.
No, see, I think, if you were to touch that, see,
sticky.
it sticks onto your finger. You don't want that, so we need 1 more cup.
So you add a cup at a time at this point?
Yes.
Would be
Well,
all right?
actually, at this point, you should add a little bit less than that, but I could see that this is really sticky.
Yeah, it still needs some
And you
more.
know what? You learn how to work with those after a while. And if you have a favorite recipe that works for a lot of different things, use one recipe. You don't have to
keep changing it. That's right.
You know, until you feel. Now, see.
Now, Mary, when do you get your hands in there?
Oh, I'm going to get them in there pretty soon. I love the feel of dough art.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I really do.
Okay.
Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the bowl upside down.
Upside down?
Yes, and I'm going to put it on this counter.
You need some flour?
Yes.
Okay.
How about if we put some...
Just sprinkle some around?
Yes, and I'm going to...
Okay.
And what I'll do is... Ooh, that's a heavy bowl.
It sure is.
Okay, all right, if you'd like to take that over there.
Okay.
Now, this is where the fun begins. Now, see, what you're doing is you're just gathering all together, like in a ball, so that you could make it workable. Oh, if you could just feel that.
This is kneading, right?
Feel that, R. Feel how nice it feels already.
It's wonderful.
And it has a little bit of warmth
to it.
right, so that you know it's going to be just the right temperature.
And this is the important step because the gluten in the flour is what's causing this to be a dough, really.
That's exactly true.
Okay, notice how she's pushing with the heels of her hand, and you do that to get the air bubbles out. Because you don't. If you've ever picked up a loaf of bread and you take a slice and there's a big hole in the center, that means that they have not thoroughly kneaded that, or they have kneaded air into it rather than taking the air out. And the only way to do that when you're making bread is to be sure to keep using the heel of your hand to push away from you. Need more flour?
Just a tad, Art, because it's just
almost there, huh?
It's almost there. It's wonderful. Matter of fact, it's hardly sticking to my fingers at all.
It's perfect.
But we have to remember that with rolled dough, it's a richer dough, so it's going to be stickier. Now, if I was making Italian bread or French bread, there's hardly, there's hardly any shortening in that at all. Matter of fact,
it's mostly just flour and water and yeast, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is, and salt.
Salt, yeah.
But primarily, this is a very, see, and it's, I think it's almost perfect. So what you do when you knead, you keep turning it like a third of a turn, or a quarter of a turn, rather. Push
Push down, and bring it back.
Bring it back. Turn it, push, and bring it back. And this is good for when you have a headache, you know. And
Helps to get all that
you want to
work.
beat some things.
And besides that, look how wonderful the buns are when you're done because they're nice and smooth.
Really.
It's been productive.
But see, it doesn't take very much, and already it's pretty smooth. It's a little bit sticky still, but I think that'll be just fine.
Will it be okay?
Yes, that'll be just fine for now.
Now, what will we do with that?
Now, what we do right now is you just let that sit there for a minute.
Okay.
And
You want to put the bowl on?
yes.
Okay.
I'll just put it right back in here. Normally, you don't do this, okay? Normally, what you do is you have another bowl, and...
Can we put it in that one?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay.
My other bowl...
That would be good. Because I like the people to know exactly what to do. And let's just...
My other bowl is already being risen in there.
I know. She's going to show you that wonderful dough that has been
See, I put some oil
raising.
in here. You just take it and you just move the oil all the way around the sides. Then you take your ball of dough and you put it in there and you turn it on the other side.
So that it has a covering of oil.
Now see? And that oil is going to help it to be malleable. It's going to help it to just move
Rounded.
up. And wonderful. Now at this point, then I cover it with this stuff here. Some people call it
Paper.
saran, some people call it whatever you want. And I just
Plastic
kind of,
wrap.
just stick it on there. See, that keeps
over
the
the dough.
draft from hitting it.
Okay. Everybody
And
see
over
that?
that.
Okay, we have 8 minutes, Mary. So we're just, I want to be sure that everybody sees.
Okay.
And then
so
we cover
this,
that.
You can either put this in the oven, like this one is.
Well, why don't you take that one out and we'll put this one in to raise.
Ooh, this is wonderful. This has been in there rising, and matter of fact, I had to push it down.
Now
punch it
let's
down.
see this. Is this beautiful? That's what it should look like. And it has filled the bowl.
Now what you do is you put your fist through the center. That
You
pushes
gather it.
all the... Now this has been rising for quite a long time, so you could see that after it's punched down a little bit.
How long would it take from what we've just done to get it to the place where we can use it?
Oh gosh, an hour,
About an
hour
hour?
and a half. See, it's a rich dough, so it's going to take a little
Takes a while.
time. Okay? Now, I'm going to take half this dough,
Okay.
and I want you to see this. You don't cut it with a knife. You kind of squeeze
Break
it.
Yeah.
If this will let
This
me
one will let
squeeze
you
it.
do it, huh?
This one is like,
Okay.
all right. There we go. Oh, that feels wonderful. Let's have a little bit of flour on here,
Some more flour. Okay, I'll just put it there and you can just help yourself.
Okay. Matter of fact, I think that has enough flour on the base there. I'll just put some on top so that the rolling pin doesn't get it stuck.
Okay.
Okay.
That's great.
Now, you take your rolling pin. By the way, this is a wonderful gift from a wonderful friend who happens,
Many years ago.
who happens to be standing right next to me. And what you want to do, you want to roll this into a rectangle that makes the dough, I guess, well, I like to roll it thinner. It's like about 3/8 of an inch, okay? And we're going to move this very quickly because...
You're also bringing any air bubbles that may have formed in the raising process.
Exactly. And you can hear them
I
popping,
can hear
as a
them
matter of
crackling,
fact,
yes.
when you're doing this.
So you want a nice shaped rectangle.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for, okay?
Yes. Okay, let us say that we have now a nice shaped rectangle.
Well, they understand, yeah.
Yes, because we have time problems here. But anyway, now what I'm going to do is I take softened butter. I don't like to melt my butter. I like to just use softened butter.
Because she's an artist, she's great with the brush.
And I just kind of brush that on there.
Okay. Maybe I could do that while you're telling us what to do with the cinnamon. How's that?
And then the cinnamon mixture is 2 sugars, the brown sugar and the granulated sugar. And along with that, I've loaded, as you can see, with lots and lots of cinnamon because cinnamon is so wonderful on the inside of this.
You know, my husband, that's one of his pet peeves when you buy store-bought. He said, there's never enough cinnamon.
I know.
And so he will love these, I know.
Oh, I hope so.
Mary, as you can see, I'm not an artist, so
That's all right.
I'm a
You're
little
doing
different with it. Am I doing all right?
Oh, excellent.
Oh, good.
I always pray over all my stuff.
Well,
when
that's
I'm doing
good.
this. Oh, Lord, please make this taste good.
I'm sure it does.
And then you just kind of shake it on the top like that.
Back and forth, huh?
Back and forth. Try to hit as much as you can. It's all right if some comes out. Some people say, oh, leave a margin of a quarter.
Nah,
So what? Let it just all fill it up. Fill it
So
up.
what? That's the way I feel. Ah, so what? Go ahead, do it anyway.
You know, really, some of these rules, they're just trying to give you directions. But once you get into it, you have fun with it.
It's entirely a personal thing.
That's
the more
right.
and more I cook, the more I realize that cooking is a personal like and dislike.
Oh, it is. It really is. Okay, now, I want my rolls to be a little bit wider. So I'm going to start from the short end. This is called the short end. This is the long. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to start from this side. And you
now, you don't ever put raisins or anything like that.
Oh, listen,
though,
you
or
could.
Nuts or whatever you want.
You can put orange filling or raisin filling, apple filling. Boy, you could just have fun with this recipe.
Put whatever you wanted in that filling.
Whatever you want. And so now I'm just going to roll it. You should roll it as tightly as you can.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, it feels so nice. If you could just see.
I cannot tell you how easy this dough is
to
work with.
It is. It's
to handle.
wonderful.
It's perfect.
Now what you do is you take these little ends here and you pinch them.
Because if you don't, they will unravel as they're baking.
Yes, they will.
You don't want that to happen.
No, we certainly don't. And sometimes they still unravel anyway. Then I have this little thing. I saw this done in St. Louis at a cinnamon factory, cinnamon buns, and they were cutting them with this. So you just
clean cut with that
too,
don't
clean
you?
cut. Now this end doesn't have very much in it because it's on
all right.
the end. But what you do is you take them, you cut them like about an inch. Can you see that?
Inch wide.
Inch wide. And now we're going to place them in a greased pan.
Now this is a pan that has seen many a cinnamon roll.
Can you tell?
And this pan is what I would call tempered. That's perfect. That's
a
wonderful.
tempered pan. I also make pizza in there with the same dough, by the way.
You could make pizza with the same dough.
Arlena, you could. And the only thing is you don't have as much sugar in it.
Okay. Yeah, you would cut the sugar.
Okay.
You're laughing because you call me Arlena.
Oh, is
That's
that
my
why you're
pet name.
laughing?
That's my pet name, right?
That's her pet name.
And
we
you're
Italians
Mariska.
got to stick together,
That's
right?
honey. Except I'm not Italian, but I wish I was. No. But we may as well be, right?
You don't. Your daddy won't be happy when he hears that.
That's
Okay.
beautiful.
So see
Let's
how
see,
nice that
Turn
is?
so they can see.
Okay.
That's exactly what you're looking for right there.
Okay. Arlena, I want to put this oil onto heat so that this will be nice and hot. Okay.
Because we're going to show you what to do with.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you something else here. Where can I put this? Should I leave this here? If you want to make pecan or walnut rolls like you see right there, what I did is I put a couple tablespoons in each of these of brown sugar. Then all I did was just pour some Caro syrup on that. You're supposed to measure these carefully, but I like it gooey, so I just put a bunch in. And so there's a couple of these that don't have it in there. So I'm just, I guess it's about a teaspoon. Okay, now let me just put some butter on this last one here. I'm losing all my stuff.
Here's some.
We'll
use
just
some
take
of that.
this.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, now what you do is you have one here that was already cut. You just, oh my goodness, I forgot to put nuts in there.
Have to put the one. That's what makes them good.
Nuts. Oh,
how many? You just put a little handful in each one,
a little
right?
handful. You know why? Because what happens is the sugar happens to boil over, and boy, does it make a mess. Ask me later
kitchen.
why.
That bad, huh?
That bad. Okay, so then you just put this right on top. Okay? Right on top, like that, Arlena.
You mean that's all you have to do with that?
That's all.
Do
Let
you let
this
them raise
rise
again?
Yes, let this raise again.
Do you let these raise again
Let
too?
those raise again until they're about doubled in size.
Which is about what?
Oh, it doesn't take very long, maybe half an hour.
Finish these, Mary.
You want me to finish
yeah.
those? I will. Here, I'll move this out of the way so they could keep watching what we're doing here.
Okay.
And Arlena, I wanted to use some of these
Show us.
to fry them as soon as that oil heats up a little bit.
Okay. Well, why don't we take a break, and when we come back, we'll show how you're going to fry them, okay?
Okay.
Let's do that.
That'll be great.
We'll be back in just a minute, but we want to tell you how you can get these recipes, the recipe that you've seen today, and when we come back, she's going to show you something else to do with this dough. Stay with us. Okay, she's going to take some of this dough that she's already made these other creations with, and she's going to fry it. Now, Mary, go ahead.
This needs to be heated just a tad more, but anyway, I'm going to give you an idea.
Can we turn it up? There we go. It's going to be cranking now.
Okay.
All right, now what do you call this? It's the same roll and everything, and you're just going to put it in there to fry.
I'm going to put it in there to fry, and you have to make sure. Now, there's sugar in here, so it could get a little sticky. So you just have to keep your eye on it, okay? But, oh, it's so wonderful. And just smell it. It's just extravagant.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
See,
I think that
bubbling.
is
Yeah,
bubbling.
let's try it.
Yeah, well, that wasn't exactly it.
Okay,
it wasn't
maybe,
exactly
well,
it.
let me see if I can regulate this. And
Okay.
There, it's starting to bubble around it. Now, Mary, what do? You use a spatula or something?
I could just use this.
Okay.
But really, the oil should be like 350 degrees.
Okay.
Okay. And then you just place these in there.
Okay.
And then they become like donuts. You know those
Donuts.
those donuts that you get at Mr. Donuts and at Dunkin' Donuts and
Yeah,
all
all those
that?
donut places.
Oh, they taste wonderful.
So when I touch that,
Absolutely
it's
wonderful.
unraveling, but I wanted to get it, you know?
Okay.
But I won't do it. I will restrain myself.
Arlene,
Marianne, I know that you love to entertain like I love to
my
entertain.
goodness. I love to.
She and I both, we're always the recipes, this and that. And it's such a joy to know
I'm going to put
that-
some plain dough in there while you're talking.
that while, you know, we work jobs, we have our careers that we are involved with, we still take time to entertain.
Oh, yes.
Have family members. In fact, we were at your house for dinner last night.
Yes, it was so much fun.
Believe me, when she prepares a meal, she prepares a meal. And it's always special. And what she does is keeps in mind all the special things that people like. And when you come back, she prepares them again for you. And that's the mark of a true hostess. And nothing, I have found with Marianne, nothing is ever too much trouble. Nothing is too much bother. If she knows you like it, she makes it for you. And I appreciate that very much. These look wonderful. Are they ready to turn or do they need to brown?
No, see what they do, they need to be golden brown.
Oh, that one's getting brown.
This one's getting brown. Good,
Okay.
let's turn him over.
Oh, they do look like those donuts.
I know they do.
That's wonderful. Can we
don't-
see this? Just want to make sure that they're getting a good...
And you know what,
Is it brown?
don't worry if they don't stay.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here today.
Oh, Arlene, it was a
my pleasure to
pleasure
have
to
you.
be here.
Be sure to join us the next time because it just wouldn't be the same without you right here at home. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for joining us for today's program. Be sure to join us next time right here at home. Fresh produce provided by Jordan Banana, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Dravosburg, PA. Cookware provided by Woolies. Your favorite gourmet deserves the best for less at Woolly Balcony Cookware. Some of our guests stay at the Palace Inn, your home away from home in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.